Okay. It is now Tuesday, 2 days, 2 days after Kendrick Lamar's concert. I mean, after the Super Bowl. But of course, if you saw the thumbnail, you know what we about to talk about, right? First of all, congratulations to the Eagles. They played an amazing game. I don't think anyone should be mad at the results of this Super Bowl unless you're a Chiefs fan like myself. However, Kendrick Lamar redeemed the Super Bowl for me because it was getting bad. Actually, it was bad before the halftime show. But I want to get into a few stats and give these guys their flowers before we get into this video. First of all, congratulations to the Eagles. I may have said that already, but the Eagles won their second Super Bowl of their franchise history. That's pretty big. Saquon Barkley set the NFL record for the single most rushing yards with 2,504 total rushing yards. That's big too. Shout out to him. And Jalen Hurts was named the most valuable player at the Super Bowl. That's pretty damn big. So shout out to them. Now, Kendrick Lamar. Let's get into this one. Kendrick Lamar, their final audience numbers was quoted at 127.27 million, which was 3% a 3% increase over last year's, which was 123.7 million. And if you ask me, it was probably more because that doesn't account for the people on Super Bowl cruises, the people that had 40, 50 people at their houses, the clubs hosting the Super Bowl, the movie theaters hosting the Super Bowl with hundreds of people. So it's probably more than that, but we'll just take those raw numbers. And of course, the bad. Of course, there's going to be Kendrick Lamar hate. And one of the reasons is that people didn't understand the concept or the message thereof. And I'm just going to say this. It is not for everybody to understand. Some people just simply want to be entertained by artists that they know or that they resonate with. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, there are some people that are saying that the only reason why people watched was to see if Kendrick Lamar would play They Not Like Us. Well, if they did, then they watched half of the game and hopefully they were entertained. And Not Like Us played, so they got what they wanted to. The other one was that people didn't like the music, and that's cool too. However, let's not take anything away from this. This was a big deal for Kendrick. It was a big deal for the Eagles. And to say that the game or the whole Super Bowl sucked, I mean, how can it suck when it's the most watched Super Bowl? So anyway, the next thing I want to get into, because as I was watching the Super Bowl, as I was watching the halftime show, I knew that there were some like little gems in the message here and there, that Kendrick wouldn't just be performing these songs for the hell of it. There was always a deeper meaning. And shout out to these creators. One channel is called New Rock Stars, and the other one is called Blackie Speaks. I don't know if I'm going to get into both of these, but the one by New Rock Stars, it looks pretty promising. I'm going to try to get through both of them, but I don't want to keep out here for 30 minutes, but I just might. So without further ado, let's get into this first one. And y'all let me know in the comments if y'all knew some of this stuff too, or if you're just as oblivious to some of this stuff as I was. All right, here we go.
This performance is nothing short of a complete story with so many moving parts. It opens with the PlayStation controller buttons, which seemed to me as something else, but Zach on Break Room compared this stage to a PlayStation controller, and I now firmly believe it. I googled the buttons that lit up maybe for a cheat code or something, and it gave me the Lost World Jurassic Park guide, which loosely does give you the cheat code to start the game with 59 lives, and this is the 59 Super Bowl. Coincidence? I don't know, probably not. Shelley Rogers, the show's art director, mentioned in an interview with The Wire, I think the video game theme was symbolic, his way to reach young people, Rogers says. She goes on to say, a lot of it showing his journey traveling through the American dream. We'll continue to note this throughout the breakdown, acknowledging moments that could reflect Kendrick's real life. Also, back to the PlayStation of it all. PlayStation is owned by Sony, which also owns Santa Ana label group, which in January of 2024 partnered with Drake's group OVO. So, you get two birds, one stone, really. We also learned that we're playing the American game. A single beam of light hits the middle of the squares. This is Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. I flagged Uncle Sam beginning his taunt in the middle square, which is the most critical spot in tic-tac-toe. Claiming it first gives you a better strategic advantage, and who already has the best advantage in the game than Uncle Sam? Uncle Sam is the symbol and personification of the United States and its government. Now, in Kendrick Lamar's album To Pimp a Butterfly, Uncle Sam was the nickname, but also characterized to represent America, the government, capitalism, along with a lot of racism. Opening track of Wesley's Theory, he raps at one point as Uncle Sam saying, "What you want, you a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar, anything. See, my name is Uncle Sam, I'm your dog. Motherfucker, you can live at the mall." 40 acres and a mule, these are the promises made to slaves after the Civil War, like reparations. What he's showing us is that Uncle Sam represents a country built on freedom and choices. But it isn't, and for black folks, it was built on false promises. What Uncle Sam is doing is criticizing and telling Kendrick how to perform and what everyone in America wants to see, hence the album title, To Pimp a Butterfly. Kendrick choosing now, Black History Month in America, where they're actively trying to strip the rights away from many minorities, is so impactful, and he's doing it in such a way. I'm happy to be black, but I'm very happy to be black. This is also coming on the heels of the Louisiana lawmakers demanding a family-friendly halftime, citing past vulgar performances. And a lot of those vulgar performances are POCs. Don't ask us to perform if you're gonna criticize it. Uncle Sam wears a custom boat ensemble, a three-piece suit, and an overcoat. The placement of the stars is interesting. There are 14 stars on his jacket, and a flag believed to be from 1846 to 1848, anticipating the coming Civil War, does feature 14 stars, not representing all the states of the Union, but only the free states where slavery was illegal. It could represent that, but it might just be an array of different stars. There's a lot of interpretation you can make for it. Kendrick opens upon the classic GNX that graces the album cover, but it is not the exact one. This one was gutted and turned into a clown car, according to the art director. He's repping an unreleased track, Bodies, or Tiramisu if you want to call it that. It was used to promote the GNX album a while back. Kendrick is rocking a royal blue varsity jacket custom made by Martine Rose, who he's worked with much in the past. The front of the jacket reads Gloria, a reference to the last song on the GNX album, and Gloria is also in red and white on the blue coat, similar to the American type of colors we're going to be seeing all throughout this performance. The back has a large PG Lang, the company Kendrick and Dave Free, the director of Not Like Us, share. Above the PG Lang, it says Compton, Kendrick's hometown, which you should know by now. He's also rocking the Nike Air DT Max 96s, a backwards turned cap with the Romanov Diamonds angel wing brooch. He's got the G National for Grand National patch, the all I ever wanted was the Black Grand National, wop wop wop, which is from Not Like Us. On the other side, 2025 and KOW, which, I was writing this very late, couldn't figure that out. I'm sure it just means one of the songs, but you yell at me, tell me what you think it is. And of course, an A minor chain. This chain also refers to Dave Free and Kendrick's company PG Lang, where this is also their logo. The two children holding up the A may look familiar because towards the end of the performance, we see people in the back waving the flag. As he continues singing on the car's hood, people start jumping from the vehicle and the trunk everywhere and wearing red, white, and blue. Later, we'll see them scattered, symbolizing America's current cultural divide. In our great nation's pigments, there's a lot of symbolism behind the colors. Red symbolizes valor and bravery, and if you pay really close attention, the people in red are always trailing Kendrick, watching his back and ready to squabble up. White represents innocence and purity. These are the men dancing at the beginning in their own little bubble, unfazed, singing under the streetlights, and when everyone falls to the ground dancing toward the end, they're still standing, dancing innocently. Blue represents vigilance and justice, and those in the blue we see trailing those in the red, protecting Kendrick, dancing with SZA and Kendrick on the triangle stage, protecting SZA and Kendrick. They also represent the part of the American flag, with our stars representing each state, which could further represent the justice we seek for black men in America. Bah! Some folks have also interpreted it as the blue and red gang, since we know Kendrick's upbringing, and this could also represent their hopeful unity to combat the American game that's rigged against us. There's a lot of ways to interpret this scene, and I think everybody's points are valid. You just need to know the message or get the message across, or actually just talk about it, because more word of mouth for the message. Activism. The music halts with a screech, and we're left behind with only the red dancers.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
I don't think I really need to explain this one, but in case if I do, again, while rights are being stripped in America from minorities, we see explicit hate for most folks. Their freedom in the US is taken away, and our government's loss of morality. This isn't necessarily a wake-up call, but we need order and change, which Kendrick is forcing you to see. You can't turn away from this. This is one, if not the most watched program in the United States. Additionally, we will speak to this in a larger portion of the video later, but note how everyone came out of the same car, but we'll later see them be divided and segregated, or separated if you don't like the word segregate. Then they play Squabble Up, and we see the men in white dancing in the front, while those in the red dance in the back in a more uniformed march. I think these are the same men who appear later in Man at the Garden. These are the turf fiends who also showed up during Squabble Up in the music video. Notice how they enter Dancing with Kendrick. If this performance follows his journey in the American game or the American dream, it begins with him being himself in America. Now, the choreography is magnificent, but tailored so differently, and if you remember the Squabble Up music video, it featured tons of different California dance influences, which I think we're highlighting here, but to a much bigger scope. We're recognizing the diversity across the nation, so in our neighborhoods or in our lives, we're actually focusing on the differences. Also, these 100 plus dancers were choreographed by Charm LaDonna, who did not like us. She is on top of it. Then Uncle Sam comes in for more play. Uncle Sam's not happy with the way Kendrick's playing the American game. Now remember what I mentioned earlier and how Kendrick sees Uncle Sam. Not only is he being pimped by Big Greed in front of us, but the game wasn't really made for black folks. You're meant to assimilate and adapt to what Uncle Sam wants from you, and he promises that you'll get something if you fit his narrative. Additionally, it's not hard to assume a lot of America will criticize Kendrick's performance Monday morning as loud, reckless, and ghetto. These are also common words used to tear us down. And then this perfectly segues us into Humble, a song that is about being humble and arrogant at the same time. I know that some folks read it as Kendrick telling other rappers to be humble, but I always read it as both that and him doing the same thing, reminding himself to be humble, seeing as where he came from. He could also be, telling America to be humble right now at the Super Bowl because we know who's in the audience. And then you see the dancers positioned like the American flag, though it's divided right down the middle. This is probably my favorite sequence and has so many messages, maybe things you did or didn't notice. America's got a cultural divide going on right now, and we see it choreographed here with Kendrick standing in the middle of the divide, representing our nation. But this could also represent he's helping bring us back together. It doesn't necessarily have to be Kendrick, but like he said, the revolution's about to be televised. You picked the right time, just the wrong guy. He's showing us, all of us, the problem in America right now. And I think it's important to flag that these are all black men with different outfits, accessories, and looks, but still, to me, this is very symbolic of America being built on the backs of black people. It's right there in front of us, I gotta say. Everyone scatters when he imitates gun firing. In the stands, you see it says stage 1. We're only at the beginning, and if this is Kendrick's journey through the American game or dream, we just got snippets of the gun and street violence while he performs DNA. This song is about racism and how we're treated when we carry so much history and culture and life, no matter how people stereotype us to be. The colors no longer form the flag, they all blend together now. And we're no longer divided, but harmonious and protecting each other. Where there is beauty and celebration in the hood, there are also times of extreme hardships and grief at the hands of inescapable violence. And we see that part of Kendrick's American game playing out here. The lights in the stand now spell out warning wrong way, and I think it can mean two things. Notice how we began near the square, then trekked all the way to the triangle, and then he'll turn around and strut back towards the beginning. I think this could be more commentary on how, as a nation, even divided, we're going backwards. Though you could also interpret it as Uncle Sam's warning in the American game. He's clearly not playing it right, Kendrick, so he's warning him to get back to something more palatable. And then, oh boy, we get Euphoria, the Drake song. This song came after Push Ups, a song catered to dissing Kendrick and using Euphoria, the name of the show Drake is an executive producer of, that show that's centered around high schoolers and their rambunctious lives. Wonder why he's producing it. This is clearly a road, and we see all these street lights, and you can see that people are balanced on the street lights, looking up at the stars, or, the night lights of the game. Kendrick released a short film with PG Lang titled Welcome to PG Lang. It featured him balanced on street lights like a cloud, just like this. This video incorporates numerous visual motifs, focusing on disengaging from your phone or overstimulation and embracing the present. You could also focus on the past or the future if you wanted. Though Kendrick on the streetlight is questioned, I wondered what he's thinking up there or whether he's thinking at all. And I think these boys on the street lamps represent Kendrick's break after Damn and the writer's block he mentioned in Morale and the Big Steppers. One of the men is wearing a hat that says Peekaboo, and we'll see that this is the next song in the performance. Then Uncle Sam comes back.
I didn't even see that either.
Uncle Sam is still not here for the black culture and representation. He doesn't want us to show our authentic selves. Kendrick
Hold on, why all three of us had on glasses at that time? And both of us got on pink.
ain't listening to what he's telling him to do, so he has the scorekeeper deduct one life. This is to slow us down, to keep us apart when we're unified. However, this is also like a typical tactic. If we don't behave or we're not what they're looking for, we're chastised. What's also very important about this scene is that Uncle Sam stares down the barrel of the camera at the viewers of America, addressing all of America, and says, scorekeeper, deduct one life. Are we the scorekeepers for Uncle Sam? He makes the command and we're supposed to follow? I mean, maybe not me, but you. y'all America. I'm also America, but you know, I'm black in America. It's a different game. We're now at Peekaboo, and Kendrick literally jump scared us all in this little cute appearance. We're performing now on the giant X, and each limb
Hilarious.
feels like a different island with a different group of people, hence their different choreographies. This could also represent the other communities, different groups of folks who have been divided but waiting for something to bring them together, a common ground maybe, a mission, what have you. In this case, it's Kendrick who leads them all to the free limb. Kendrick mentions, I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue, trolling Drake and his team for filing a lawsuit against Universal Music Group for promoting Not Like Us. And he says he'll think about it, but slows it down, and Uncle Sam ain't happy, but then the ladies come out in red, and SZA is here, and we get Luther, which is my favorite song. I love Luther. Our girl is perfect. I'm having such a fun time watching her perform with Kendrick. Their little step two to each other is so nice. And you know what? I'll say it. If you guys want to buy me a ticket to their concert, I'll take it. I'll take any free ticket my way. I can't afford it. Also, this is exactly what happened with Renaissance. I couldn't afford it and then watched my friend just show up randomly. And then no one told me I don't know. I'm ranting now. I just want a ticket to this concert. I just can't afford it. But I know it's going to be great. Someone record it. Send it to me. Then we get All the Stars, which you might know from Black Panther, of course, because it's a great duet. We've now grouped back together, men, women, red, white, and blue. Then Uncle Sam comes back, congratulating them on the song. That is until he summed up the entire performance. There's a cultural divide in America. He's addressed and shown you in under 15 minutes. A performance for the masses to ponder or to seek to understand. 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music. The promise was bigger than the prize, and they tried to rig the American game against us, systemically and structurally bound to prejudicial laws, unfair treatment, or disadvantages, segregation, gentrification, voter suppression, all of the above. However, for Kendrick, it's him being a puppet to the industry and wanting to be true to himself, and you can't fake influence. Then we get Not Like Us, and we're all back together dancing again. Kendrick smiles, but he says, hey Drake, and this is honestly the cutest thing in the world.
That
also,
was
our man doesn't even have to say P3DO. The crowd screamed a minor. They screamed the words for him. Then we see Serena
3PDO.
sea walking. In the Squabble Up video, we also saw a young girl dancing
That
like
was-
this
that was
with
a
her
creative way
tennis
to say
skirt and outfit. There was an idea
that
that she
word.
represented Serena and Venus Williams, who also grew up in Compton. This could be a nod to Serena's controversial dance during the Olympics, which she was criticized for, and speaks to the entire message Kendrick's been saying through the performance. Y'all support her when she's quiet and plays tennis, but God forbid she celebrates by sea walking. Also, we know Drake and Serena's past ain't a good one. We got
Wait, why did Drake look so sassy right there?
2 X's on the stage
Drake looks
now.
super
I'm
saucy.
just saying. Also, Serena and SZA, I'm so proud of you for walking away from that crazy man. Then we get Mustard in his custom leather Vincent Star jacket. So proud of our boys. Look at them. They're so cute together. I could watch them dance like this on the field the entire time. And look, if you're mad, if Drake is mad, reminder, at the end, Kendrick tells you to turn your TV off. Turn his TV off. The revolution was televised. Are we locked in? Are you locked in? Honestly, because this is a message to those watching and ourselves, because we need to recognize who is dividing us. And this was such a fun halftime show. There's a lot of things that might have gone over your heads or maybe confused you. And the thing is, no one is going to be 100 at this. This is some heavy research, and it's going to take a lot of time to dissect every single part. And I only think the only person that knows the entire story is Kendrick and his creative team. And for those not in America that are watching this video, because I know you guys like to watch the Kendrick Lamar videos to understand, our nation is divided right now, and a lot of folks are in bad places, scary places, harmful places. Take the opportunity to do your own research. Mind you, maybe listen and learn from those affected by said conditions, because it's a hard time. The last thing I want during Black History Month is ignorant hate towards this performance criticizing the political message without trying to learn more about it first. That's it for my breakdown on Kendrick Lamar's halftime Super Bowl show. There's probably much more to it. Again, I wrote this through the night after we got home after our 5-hour stream. We did such a good job here at New Rockstars. I can't believe we did that. Follow me.
All right, yeah. That was breakdown number 1. I like that one. That one was a little more political, but I liked it. It gave me some insight. For sure. The next one was by Blackie Speaks.
Now, Kendrick Lamar is currently trending after his Super Bowl performance, and for good reason. Ever since it was announced back in September that Kendrick was going to perform, the hype has been real. And now it finally happened, and people can't stop talking about it. But here's the thing, most people only saw what was on the surface. What they missed was the deeper message Kendrick was sending. This performance wasn't just about entertainment, it was filled with subliminals, symbolism, and a statement that went way beyond the music. So in this video, we're breaking it all down, what Kendrick was really trying to communicate, and why this might be one of the most important Super Bowl performances we've ever seen. Let's start with some of the basics, what I'd consider the less exciting but still important details. First, we have the A chain, which caught a lot of people's attention. Some fans believe the A could be a subliminal shot at Drake, referencing the A minor line from Not Like Us, or even Drake's real
that would've
name,
been funny.
Aubrey. While there's definitely a possibility, if you ask me, I think this is more about Kendrick promoting PG Lang. PG Lang, the company Kendrick started in 2020, specializes in music, film, television, and creative production. If you take a look at their merchandise, they frequently use the letter A, making this seem more like a branded promotion rather than a direct shot at Drake. That being said, I wouldn't put it past Kendrick to include this, knowing people would speculate and tie it back to their beef. But overall, I think this was less about the drama and more about using the big stage in America to push his brand forward. And then we
Okay, I would agree to that more than it being A for Aubrey or A minor, even though it was a lowercase a. That's funny. That would be funny as hell. But yeah, I like that better. It's PG Lang. It's the PG Lang A.
We have Serena Williams crip walking, which is so petty but undeniably funny. This moment was of course a direct, calculated jab considering Serena's history with Drizzy. Serena Williams and Drake used to date at one point, for anyone who doesn't know. Their connection first gained traction in August 2015 when paparazzi snapped them getting cozy at a Cincinnati restaurant. Before that, Drake had already been spotted courtside at her tennis matches, fueling speculation.
Like
However, things between Serena and Drake eventually soured. The exact reason, well, nobody truly knows. But what we do know is that in 2022, Drake took an unexpected shot at Serena's husband, Alexis Ohanian, on his collab album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. He did this on the track Middle of the Ocean, when he said, "Sidebar Serena, your husband a groupie. He claimed we don't got a problem, but no boo, it is like you coming for sushi." That was a blatant sign of disrespect, not just towards Alexis, but indirectly towards Serena as well. And it was clear that she caught shade. Alexis Ohanian later responded on Twitter, brushing off Drake's comments while proudly embracing his role as a quote-unquote groupie for his wife and daughter. Very respectable man. Fast forward to the Super Bowl, and Serena's playful yet symbolic crip walking during Kendrick Lamar's performance almost felt like a subtle but satisfying clapback for the both of them. I think the deeper context definitely made it hilarious in its own right, whether intentional or not, which it probably was. It was Serena, one of Drake's exes, and they obviously had a fallout. What a better way to send a message on the biggest stage than having her dance. So SZA was up on that stage with Kendrick, and for anyone who didn't know, SZA used to actually date Drake back in 2009. So there's that. For the Serena angle, there's also another layer to this moment. Serena did grow up in Compton before moving to Florida at the age of 9. So
did y'all know that? I know some people didn't know that SZA and Drake dated. I mean, the fans do, but I mean, some people watching this probably didn't know the significance. But that's another one.
not only does she share hometown roots with Kendrick Lamar, but the fact that they came together collectively to embrace a song that openly disses Drake, that's a shot 100%. It almost felt like a full circle moment. Kendrick, the hometown hero, using his Super Bowl performance to take aim at an industry rival, and then Serena, who grew up in Compton, casually hitting the crip walk to the same song right there on national television. Aside, he said, "Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. Better not go to Cell Block 1." Now that, I don't think there's anything particularly deep about that, but if you guys seen the look on this guy's face when he says that, I ain't really gonna say anything. Just look at this guy's face, bruh. This face has hate a million times written all over it, okay? Now that aside, let's actually go over the real shit now, okay? And this is something you're probably only gonna hear here because nobody breaks this down like me. So how about
let's
drop a
go
like
then,
on this
Blackie.
video for your boy. So most people obviously paid attention to those surface level things like the A-Chain, Serena, and all that. Those things aside, this wasn't just a performance. This so-called performance, okay, this was actually a political statement. The show opened with none other than legendary actor Samuel L. Jackson introducing Kendrick Lamar. But this wasn't just an introduction. Samuel L. Jackson was dressed as Uncle Sam, the well-known symbol which is supposed to represent the US government. So he's a physical embodiment of the government, okay? And that embodies authority, control, which is essentially the same system that Kendrick has been fighting for the entirety of his career, but most importantly of all, life. Kendrick Lamar has spent his entire career being critical of the systems in America that have contributed to so much of the pain Black America has faced. He's never shied away from addressing oppression, economic disparity, and systematic racism in his music. In fact, he dedicated an entire album to these themes in 2015 called To Pimp a Butterfly. One of the most striking examples of this is Wesley's Theory, the very first song on the album where Kendrick raps, "Anything to see, my name is Uncle Sam, I'm your dog, motherfucker, you can't live at the mall, I know you're kind, that's why I'm kind, don't have receipts, oh man, that's fine, pay me later, wear those gators, cliche, then say F your haters. Now this particular song is about the financial traps that have kept black Americans stuck in a cycle of debt and economic struggle. Kendrick paints a picture of the US government personified as Uncle Sam, luring young black men into a false sense of financial freedom, encouraging them to overspend, indulge in materialism, and accumulate debt, all while knowing that the system is designed to keep them from ever truly attaining wealth. Simply put, it's a trap. And Kendrick, being as intentional as he is, wasn't just referencing the song for nostalgia. His decision to have Samuel L. Jackson, dressed as Uncle Sam, introduce his Super Bowl performance was a callback to this very idea, reminding us that financial literacy, systematic racism, and the exploitation of black culture are still very relevant conversations today. Wesley's theory is a direct reference to actor Wesley Snipes, who famously went to prison for tax evasion. Kendrick used Snipes' situation as a metaphor for how the system sets up black artists, athletes, and entertainers to fail financially. Wesley Snipes was once one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, but after failing to pay millions in taxes, the American government came down on him hard. While tax evasion is a crime regardless of who commits it, Kendrick's point is that black celebrities are often placed in a financial trap, encouraged to spend recklessly, not given the tools for financial literacy, and then penalized harshly when they make mistakes. Kendrick's message in Wesley's theory is that the government gives opportunities, loans, and access to luxury, but then punishes those who don't navigate the system correctly. It's a cycle, one that's intentionally designed to keep black people chasing wealth without ever achieving true financial independence. And when you bring this back to the Super Bowl performance, the symbolism becomes even clearer. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam wasn't just a random creative choice, it was a statement. Kendrick was showing that the same oppressive forces he's been rapping about for years are still at play, even on one of America's biggest stages while he's on that stage. Essentially, Kendrick is saying the same forces that allowed me to get on the stage, the ones that helped me get to my success and wealth, are the same forces still controlling the game while I'm performing on this stage. It's a paradox. Kendrick is saying that, hey, I know that I'm benefiting from the system, but he's also a product of the system's constraints. Alright, we're not playing that entire clip, man, because they're trying to get my motherfucking coins out here, bro, and I'm not gonna let that happen. And that's why Samuel L. Jackson, representing the US government, injects himself into the performance by saying, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. This moment isn't just about performance theatrics. It's a direct critique of how black expression is often policed and commodified. It's the system allowing Kendrick to exist, but only under certain conditions. The message is clear. Be successful, but not too successful. Speak out, but not too loud. Stay in line, play the game, and don't disrupt the system that benefits you. Now, the game he's referring to is the entertainment industry itself. The same industry that uplifts, but of course exploits black artists at the same time. It's the idea that as long as you're making money for the system, you're welcome. But the moment you challenge it too much, you become a problem. Kendrick has played this game masterfully throughout his career. He's managed to critique the system while still thriving within it. But at the Super Bowl, one of the biggest stages in America, he's making it clear. I know exactly what this is, and I know exactly how much freedom I actually have. Now, this is where Drake comes into the picture. Drake is a Canadian guy who, unlike Kendrick, has never been positioned as a revolutionary or a disruptor. He plays the game effortlessly, adapting to every trend, every industry shift, and every cultural moment without ever truly challenging the system. The battle between Kendrick and Drake isn't just about music or two rappers going at each other. It represents something bigger. It's yin versus yang, good versus evil, authenticity versus industry manipulation. Kendrick is the artist who constantly critiques the system, calling out its flaws and exposing its traps. Drake, on the other hand, is the artist who thrives within the confines of the system. Drake, for a long time, has represented the industry's favorite artist, marketable, accessible, and not so controversial. Kendrick, on the other hand, represents the people's artist, critical, disruptive, and unwilling to conform. Their rivalry has been painted as just another rap beef, but on a deeper level, it's a clash of ideologies. That's really what it is. So when Kendrick takes on the biggest stage in American entertainment and turns it into a statement against the system, it's not just about Drake. It's what he symbolizes. It's Kendrick reminding the world that the industry rewards those who play the game and silence those who question it. And by performing Not Like Us, he made sure that message was loud and clear. Now later on, before Kendrick is about to perform Peekaboo, Samuel L. Jackson delivers the line, "I see you brought your homeboys with you." The old culture cheat code, scorekeeper, deduct one life. This is more than just a random transition. It's a loaded statement. This moment ties directly into the overarching theme of the performance. The battle between playing the game and challenging the system just just enough. I see you brought your homeboys with you. On the surface, it acknowledges Kendrick bringing his team, his culture, and most importantly of all, his people to the stage. But coming from Samuel L. Jackson, who's playing Uncle Sam, the symbol of the US government and the industry's power, it carries a condescending tone. It suggests that Kendrick is leaning on the strength of his roots, his community, and black culture to make an impact. It's almost as if Uncle Sam is saying, oh, so you're using your people, your authenticity, your blackness as a way in? And it's funny because blackness is literally the source of everything in the entertainment industry. Music.
Bruh, what just happened here? Dude sprayed some fragrance, had a banana on his head. What the hell is that? What you doing, brother?
Style, culture, but when it comes to the image that the industry wants to represent, it's often watered down, controlled, or repackaged to be more digestible for mainstream audiences. Hip-hop, R&B, and black culture as a whole have shaped every major movement in music and entertainment. Yet the industry has historically treated black artists as both the foundation and the afterthought. Black artists are expected to innovate, set trends, and define culture. But when they become too outspoken or too disruptive or too unapologetically black, they're met with resistance, and this is that resistance at play. When Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam dismisses Kendrick's authenticity as just a cultural cheat code, it reflects how the industry uses black culture while trying to control who gets to profit from it. So this could be a subtle dig at how the industry exploits black culture, allowing artists to bring their background into the mainstream only when it benefits the system. Also, he's performing peekaboo, so let's talk about the white outfits, okay? Because those white outfits right there is definitely more than just a fashion choice. If you follow Kendrick's career, you know that he doesn't do anything without intention. In a situation like this, there's a strong argument that this was a direct reference to the KKK and the idea of America. All that visual alone is very symbolic. The Ku Klux Klan, also known as the KKK, is known for wearing white robes, representing white supremacy, oppression, and the same systematic racism Kendrick has been speaking out against his entire career. And let's not forget that hip-hop has been calling out America from Ice Cube to Tupac, and now Kendrick is continuing that tradition on one of the biggest stages in America. This could also be a reference to Colin Kaepernick. The NFL has a complicated history with race, from how the Colin Kaepernick situation played out to the way black artists have been selectively allowed to perform on certain stages. And yet Kendrick gets up there and flips the entire thing into a critique of the system itself. It's almost like he's saying, look, I know what country this is, I know how this game is played, and I know exactly where we stand. Now,
and they had to let him do it. It was too late. It was way too late. And I don't think they caught that first line that the revolution would be televised, the right time, but the wrong guy. I don't think they caught that.
Right before Kendrick is about to perform Not Like Us, Samuel L. Jackson delivers another loaded line.
That's what America wants.
So we're gonna have to cut that short because copyright is beating my fucking ass right now, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You're almost there. Don't miss this. And before he can even finish, Kendrick cuts him off, launching straight into Not Like Us. So this moment wasn't just theatrical. Now this moment wasn't just theatrical. It was symbolic. It was the system quite literally being interrupted. Samuel L. Jackson, still playing the role of Uncle Sam, the government, the establishment, the industry, was essentially telling Kendrick, this is what we want from you, something safe, something that doesn't challenge us. You're almost where we want you. Stay in line and don't ruin it. But Kendrick doesn't let him finish. Instead, he shuts him completely down and jumps straight into Not Like Us, arguably the most rebellious moment of the entire show. And that right there, that's the perfect representation of how America has always tried to police black voices. The government has a history of suppressing outspoken black figures, whether through censorship, blackballing, or outright violence. The entertainment industry has a habit of rewarding black artists only when they play by the rules and punish those who challenge the system. The media often tries to dictate how black artists should behave, expecting them to be nice and calm rather than unapologetic and disruptive, because when other groups of people speak up, it's seen as passion, advocacy, standing up for what's right. But when black people speak up, suddenly it's labeled as aggression, a threat, or something that needs to be controlled. But Kendrick isn't here to be controlled. The second Uncle Sam tries to contain him, he breaks free by being his loud, aggressive self and does the very thing they don't want him to do. And then to top it all off, Kendrick ends his Super Bowl performance with the song TV Off, which quite literally means turn the damn TV off.
Turn this TV off. Turn this.
constantly fed media narratives, propaganda, and distractions, Kendrick is telling the audience to wake up. The Super Bowl is one of the biggest spectacles in America. Corporations spend billions just to have a commercial slot because they know the whole world is watching. The game, the halftime show, the ads, it's all a distraction from real life issues that don't go away once the TV is off. Kendrick ending with TV off could be him saying, enough with the distractions. Think for yourself. And then the other half of the message is a message to Black America. The media has historically controlled the narrative about Black people, whether through the news, entertainment, or politics, or the entertainment industry. The way Black artists, athletes, and leaders are portrayed is often filtered through a lens of control, only showing what fits the agenda. So when Kendrick closes off his performance with TV off, it's his way of telling Black America to stop letting the media dictate their reality. Don't let America decide who your heroes are. Don't let the system control the narrative. Kendrick was clearly sending a message with this performance, and I can't believe there are people who thought this was just a regular halftime show, but then again, it makes sense. The masses only see what's on the surface. That's how it's always been. Most single moment was intentional. This wasn't just a performance, guys. This was a culture moment right here. But I'm, of course, just one man with one perspective and one voice, which is why I want to hear what you guys have to say about this entire Super Bowl performance by Kendrick Lamar.
All right. That was Blackie Speaks. Now, it's already been long enough. However, I may have one more for you. One of my favorite breakdowns. This was my first time actually going through this one all the way through. But there was another guy by the name of Bobby
Lost
Foster.
Your mind. And remember, Samuel Jackson
This one was
is a
crazy.
personification. Powerful. So let's just hop right in. So the first image we get here is the stadium lit up red, the whole entire thing, which this is a direct reference to the Drake and Kendrick beef. Because this right here, while Kendrick and Drake were in the beef, Drake posted this picture saying that he was about to press the red button, as in he was about to end things. And so Kendrick does this. He makes the stadium look like a red button, and he's saying, nah, like this is it. This is game over, as we're about to see
how the
at
kids
the end
say
of the show.
today.
I do want to make a note right now, though, that this whole entire performance was absolutely not just about Drake. Drake was actually a symbol he was utilizing to make a greater, larger point, which I'll get to what that is later.
I mess with that too.
So this imagery right off the bat here, we get a PlayStation controller and we get a game loading in the background. You see that loading bar up there. And for those that don't know, this is what a PlayStation controller looks like. Notice the triangle, the square, the circle, and the X.
Did you see a loading bar? I didn't see a loading bar.
Triangle, square, circle, and X. Now, using Samuel Jackson to personify Uncle Sam is amazing. This is also a callback to Pimp a Butterfly. In To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick was using Uncle Sam in the intro to the album, which he uses as a gateway into talking about different concepts of America. In this Super Bowl, Kendrick is using Uncle Sam to narrate this game that Kendrick is playing in America as a Black person. The reason him opening up with this song is so powerful is, one, the Super Bowl is typically where people perform their biggest songs. And Kendrick here is opening up with an unreleased song that he's been teasing. So as his fans, we're excited about it. But I do have to talk about the card that he's on, because it's not just a shout out to his newest album, GNX. GNX is his most recent album, and songs from this album are the majority of the set list that he did. But I want to talk about the car symbolism. So Kendrick posted this right here before his album even dropped, months before, and he was talking about the importance of what a GNX is to him. And essentially, it just means authenticity to him. It means one of one. And when it comes to his Super Bowl performance, that is the essence of the show, is him being authentic to himself and his upbringing and his culture. I like how he did this illusion where so many people popped out of the car, and it's because, you know, they were underneath the stage. You can see how it's feeding into the car right here. I thought that was
didn't
cool.
know that was
now
coming.
Also notice the colors here, red, white, and blue. That's going to be important. The dancers that are in the different colors, the red, white, and blue, are always really separated from each other for the most part. But later on in the show, the colors that the dancers are wearing become a story in and of itself. After Kendrick is done with Squabble Up, Samuel Jackson pops back in.
Too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up.
what's really funny about what Samuel Jackson said there is he's representing white America, and it's hilarious that a lot of the critique of the show is exactly what he just said right there.
Hey,
But
that is a
big
fact.
theme of his
That
performance
is a
is
fact.
gaming. Okay, you have this rigged game that America is setting up for Kendrick to play as a black man. You got the actual video game stage, and then through the narration of Samuel Jackson, he continues on with the video game theme. And in this moment, Samuel Jackson said, hey, like, calm all that down. You're doing the wrong thing here on this Super Bowl stage. Do something else. Play the game. And instead of taking Uncle Sam's advice, Kendrick goes into humble while standing in the middle of an American flag, symbolizing, hey, I'm not going to listen to what y'all want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. Now, with these dancers representing the American flag, we got a lot going on here that's going to start popping up as the narrative here. Yes, you have the red, white, and blue dancers forming the flag here. However, Kendrick Lamar is from Compton, and Kendrick has been very vocal about bringing the Bloods and the Crips together in unity amongst the gangs in LA. So here you have blue and red representing that as well. Earlier this year, he hosted an event called the Pop Out, where the point was to bring LA together for one night. And so, yeah, that theme's continuing here in the Super Bowl as well.
Bobby is on point, man.
Now, these
This is
people
on
marching
point.
down the steps, I think resembles Tetris because of the shot that they're about to show. So you got the Tetris block there, and then also in Humble, the song he was just performing, he talks about Tetris in there as well. And it goes with the video game theme. It's hard to see, but up here where the lights are, now it says stage 1. And he's going into a song called DNA, which, you know, is the foundation of everything, stage 1. Now notice the guys on the street lamps up here. This is a callback to 2 different Kendrick Lamar
Come
moments.
on, man.
One, it reminds me of this image here from his music video, All Right. But even more accurately, it reminds me of this. When he announced his label, PG Lang, this was part of the commercial that he used to announce it. And PG Lang is heavily featured in the Super Bowl. I saw people running around with PG Lang flags, and then also the necklace that he's wearing is the PG Lang logo. So here, after he walked all the way down the field and was doing DNA, the crowd's now saying warning, wrong way. Now in a video game, you get that warning when you cross a boundary in the video game world, and it tells you to go back the other way. You're off the correct path. And if you keep going the wrong way in a video game like that, typically you die, which comes back later in this show as well. Also, he's about to perform a song called Euphoria, which was a song in the Drake beef. And so the idea of saying the wrong way, once again, is a direct reflection also of a Super Bowl set list. Like, this is not a song he should be performing at the Super Bowl. So he's playing the game wrong.
Okay.
So this moment comes back in a big way during Not Like Us. Notice how he's walking down the field, right? And then he's also referencing walking Drake down, as in whooping him. And then notice the poker face with him smiling. That's gonna come back in a major way during Not Like Us.
Dangerously, ain't no changing me, ain't no shaming me.
So that song he's performing is called Man at the Garden. Once again, another song he should not be performing at the Super Bowl, but it was really important for him to do this song. He said it's like the most important song on his album to him because it's a song about affirmation. It's a song about saying that he deserves it all the good things in his life. And I'll just let him explain why it's such a big deal to him.
You know, I've grew up with cats, still to this day can't have a conversation. The most meanest, aggressive individuals, but they can't even look you in the eye and express themselves the way they want to. So they resort to other things. And when I think about that, and I know that I have the tools necessary to communicate myself properly and effectively, I gotta do it for them. I gotta make records like Reincarnated. I gotta make records like Man in the Garden. I have to, because they feel that way, but they cannot project it.
And so that's why he put it on
That
his
was
set.
Oh, you done lost your damn mind.
And that is why I'm saying this performance is not centered around Drake. And he's actually using Drake as a symbol for being a part of the rigged game that he faces as a black man in America. Because notice what he brings up is the lawsuit. And this idea of corporate America, of the legal system being used against him to try to censor his artistry, is how Drake is being represented here as a part of something much greater. Because notice how Samuel Jackson also says, you must have lost your mind. And remember, Samuel Jackson is a personification of America. And so the idea of him playing Not Like Us, even though he's being sued, and it's him going against the system, which is why Samuel Jackson said he must have lost his mind. Like, stay in your place, play the game.
I didn't think about that either.
Now, what I think he's doing here, having everybody just walk around the circle continuously, this song that he's performing, All the Stars, was the main song for Black Panther. And I think this is kind of like a circle of life moment because of how Chadwick passed. And that may not be the correct interpretation of this at all. They could just be walking a circle, but it's just what I thought of when I watched it. Now notice, all the dancers still segregated, still separated. You'll also notice that Kendrick is in blue and SZA is in red. Once again, the units again. It's just really ironic what Samuel Jackson is talking about, because it literally ended up being a lot of the critique of the show. And so Kendrick doing those mainstream songs, slowing it down, getting the singing in there rather than just rapping was what America wanted to see. He's like, all right, Kendrick, you're playing the game. And then he interrupts him with Not Like Us. But let's listen to what Kendrick says before he gets into Not Like Us.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the flow. 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the mule.
So that 40 acres in a mule reference is obviously a very popular term just in America, but also it's another shout out back to Pimp a Butterfly. That was a repeating theme on that album.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the flow.
And that means a couple things. So in this imagery right here, we see the cultural divide in this imagery of the flag literally being separated and everyone turned away from each other. We also see it in all the dancers currently being segregated prior to this section of the song. And when he says the flow, he's talking about the literal Super Bowl floor, like he's showing that cultural divide, but also the flow as in he's bringing rapping to the Super Bowl. And he knows there's a cultural divide on people wanting rap at the Super Bowl.
This is bigger than the music.
So here he's telling you,
That was good
like,
too.
this show is not just about my set list here as far as my greatest hits. This show is about the message I'm putting on display here.
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
So here he's talking about that game that America has black people play. They try to take black culture, but they can't. You can't fake that influence. You can't rig it like that. The idea of rigging what he was supposed to be performing through the lawsuit, nah. Like this song I'm about to perform is influential. It brought everybody together. Now remember bringing that everybody together part. Remember when he was talking about walking down Drake with a poker face? Well, now he's literally walking down the field, walking Drake down. This is the first time in the whole show we see all the colors together, random, scattered, true diversity, true coming together, no more separation. The world came together to listen to this song Kendrick put out. The LA community came together at the pop out. This song brought people together. I think we all collectively went crazy when Kendrick did that and actually named Drake. Now, the context around this is Drake sued Kendrick Lamar, and people didn't know if this song was going to get performed at the Super Bowl because of that. And then also just with the topic of the song and everything, people didn't know if, the NFL would even let him perform it. And so this moment right here where he just looks directly in the camera, smiles at him, there's that poker face. He walked him down, smiled at him right in the camera. Like, you can't stop me from doing what I want to do. But more importantly, he's not telling Drake that. He's telling America that. He's telling the system that. He's telling the legal system that. He's telling Uncle Sam that. Rebelling against the system. And he's winning. People were wondering why Serena Williams was up there crip walking. Well, Serena was raised in Compton, California, where Kendrick is from, and also Drake had been disrespecting Serena Williams, so it was a way to get her back on stage and kind of be petty, but also, once again, it's a shot at the system because Serena did this at one of her games before.
And she's in the
when
song.
Serena Williams
Her name is
did
in the
that,
song.
it received so much backlash. So now, just like Kendrick saying, screw the system, so is Serena Williams.
Let me hear you say,
Now, this is a song called TV Off, right? And let's listen to something
I went
he
crazy
said
for that
earlier
one,
in the
too.
show.
the revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. This is definitely a direct call out to where we are as a country. It's the right time for there to be a revolution. We're going through things, but you shouldn't have told Kendrick to do it because he's going to be right in your face. I'm not going to hold anything back. And so when he performs TV Off at the end, that's the full circle moment. The revolution's been televised on the TV, his performance. Now it's game over. Turn the TV off.
I was telling walking New Orleans with the etiquette of LA.
Now notice right here, everyone's back to being segregated again. And what I think that is that, like I said, Kendrick was bringing everybody together. But the reality at the end of the day is we are separated. We are culturally divided. And so he ends the show that way.
Turn this TV off. Turn this.
Yeah.
And at the end, he says, game over. And to be honest, that has a lot of meanings. The beef is over with Drake. He won the game, even though it was rigged against him as a Black American. And then also, obviously, he's at the Super Bowl and the game is over. And what's hilarious is the game actually really was over at halftime this year. The Eagles were whooping the Chiefs.
Total domination. Like, nothing left. I was damn near about to leave because the food was getting cold and the Chiefs were looking bad. Anyway.
And then also, obviously, like the very direct, like his stage was a video game and it's game over. And notice at the very end, Uncle Sam doesn't come back out. No need for Uncle Sam no more. And so, in short, this show was about Blackness, the Black experience of being a Black American going up against this rigged system that we're a part of. And he made it very clear that he's not going to play by the rules on the level of what his set list should be, on the level of rapping at the Super Bowl, at the level of promoting Blackness at the Super Bowl, at the level of not caring about the corporation, aka Drake, trying to silence him with a lawsuit to not perform this at the Super Bowl. Kendrick's going to be his most authentic self no matter what any outside influence tells him to do. And in doing so and following that his whole entire life, he ended up winning at the game of life in the way that he sees it. Absolutely amazing show. Absolutely fantastic. This is a Super Bowl show that's so different from the shows we typically get. This wasn't a passive listening experience. This was an active listening experience. Kendrick has always been about storytelling. He's always been about messaging. And I'm glad that he brought that to the Super Bowl, even though it was highly criticized and controversial to do so. Because this type of show will stand the test of time and it will always be in conversation and it will always be talked about. Because unfortunately, in this country, these themes that he brought up, they're going to be extremely important for a long time. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar. You the GOAT. This was just a great way to put a cap on one of the best years that we've seen a rapper have. And now he's about to go on a world tour.
Hey, that was a phenomenal breakdown. Y'all follow Bobby Foster, man. I am Bobby Foster, or Bobby Foster on YouTube, obviously. I subscribe today. He does a lot of like breakdown stuff. And be honest with you, that's not my strong point. But shout out to these guys because I knew for a fact that there was no way that was some like surface level Super Bowl performance, and some people just do not like to think. And I think this was like the last nail in the coffin for Drake. Like 2024 buried him, but this one was like burying him and then building a Starbucks or some shit on top of his grave. Like, this is over now. And I think he's going to go on to do bigger and better things. He has a tour coming up and it's going to be fire for sure. And if he has any LA dates, which I think he does, I'm definitely going to go. I got to go. I got to go support that man. Anyway, it's been a long time and this video is over. But to all of you, again, I have to say it, all of you that subscribed, that sent likes, that commented on my last videos, thank you. I appreciate you. I am new to the content creator game as far as like uploading stuff on YouTube. So I may not do everything the best. I may not react the best. The hell, you may not like Pink. But if you're here and you've been here this long, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. I am out.